When there is a vision and you completely embody it, you're already living in it, from how you think, how you feel, how you show up.
Welcome, everybody, to the Inner Design Podcast. I'm Anna, Creative Director for Seymour Design.
And I'm Mitra Silva, founder and visionary of Seymour Design.
What we're here to talk about today is kind of trying to understand how to stay with that vision without being dragged by our past self. So I think to start off, why don't we just talk about our vision? What's our big vision, Mitra?
To create resonance in humanity, in medical world, that serves the higher purpose for all.
What's our big dream? What are we showing up for every single day for?
Honestly, at the end is the feeling of awe, the feeling of excitement, the feeling of joy, the feeling of creating. At the end is that the dream is to embody that feeling so much that through the tools that we have, the interior design, we create places like for Amman, hotels, like that level of craftsmanship and design that is so serene, that is so grounded into love, grounded into resonance, and grounded into creating the most magnificent wellness center that people can experience and to change and make that impact for the world.
I love that. It feels like it truly came from your heart.
Yeah.
What you just told me. As we're going through and trying to achieve that vision, we've been through so much. And every time we're trying to move forward with this vision, we, of course, with everything, will come up with challenges and things like that. And with those challenges, like we see our old selves come up that is so afraid to walk into that vision. And then there are days where we feel so empowered and we have so much belief that yes, that vision is so close to us right now. And so I guess my next question, Mitra, is what's the difference between that old self who takes you back, who takes you to safety, versus that future self who feels so close into achieving that, who feels that it's actually real and it's actually happening? What's the difference between those two?
I truly believe the difference, it is the embodiment of the vision, because when there is a vision and you completely embody it, you're already living in it, from how you think, how you feel, how you show up. So you're not in lack. So I think the biggest difference, when you're embodying the vision, you're not in lack, you're not separated from it. You're completely already living it, regardless of the outcome and the circumstances of outside. So the other difference, I would say, you're living from inside out, versus the other one, you're living from outside in. You have to protect yourself. You have to be aware, not just aware, just be cautious of what is happening from outside, versus when you're living from inside, you the power is within you. So you are creating, and it's so much more cool and joyous and more amazing.
We're going through the Dr. Dispenza Abundance course, and what one of the things he said about your purpose or your vision is that you have to be so excited about it, that you truly believe it, and you show up for it so much. And I think, like, as we were just talking about our vision, like, we truly came from the heart, we truly came from excitement. And when you do that, that's where embodiment comes into it, because again, it comes from within, that excitement.
I had to really work on the embodiment meaning. Like, what does that really mean to embody? Like, really? And I realized that embodiment is like when you think about a thought, then there's this hormonal, like, interaction happen in your brain from the neuropath, and then it's like a literally chemical in your body. And then when you basically have those chemical in your body, then you feel it, you're already there. Like there's nothing like, if like let's say if they give you an ice cream, thought about the ice cream, you taste it, you feel it, you already, if you feel like the sweetness of it, you already like experienced it basically without even having that thing. So really embodiment is just really showing up and feeling as if already happened.
So this is a big question, Mitra. With our vision, or that you just shared with us, of being able to create these designs that resonate and make such an impact, how did you embody that vision? Like, how does it feel like to you that when you think it, you feel it as if it's that ice cream already? Like, can you feel that? Tell us about that feeling right now when you just told us our big vision.
The feeling is really all about um, my feeling when I talk about the dream, my dream and our dream at Seymour. It's that little Mitra is in the playground again and excited and engaged and really like loving every moment of it, and super happy to just be in that moment and creating and seeing the impact. And I believe there is a high level of joy that when you give, when you give, when you see someone else or other people really getting even like healthier and happier and more aware, and having a good feeling, for they have a good feeling, so you automatically, I feel like, it's part of the dream.
All right. So, we embody this vision so well that it becomes a part of us. Now, usually our old self will show up. And what keeps us, or what do you do, Mitra, when our old self shows up? The one that is fearful of the vision, the one who doesn't know what will happen next, the one who feels unsafe or unsure if this is the right decision. What should somebody with this big vision moving forward do when those moments show up?
I would say the first step is awareness. When you show up for yourself every day and remind yourself, and you step into the becoming process, when the old self shows up, I don't reject it. I
Mm.
become aware of it, and I know it's part of me. So I don't hide it. I express it because I know it's there when it comes up. But then how long I'm staying there is the question. So the awareness comes to picture, and then I usually ask a frontal lobe question, which is the CEO of our brain. Instead of being in survival, I ask myself a more high level, more awareness question. So whatever that would be, like how would my new self would show up right now, instead of reacting um, and being scared. How would my new self would show up and embrace the dream instead? So
Mhm.
that's what I usually do. That's the process of my thought. And and sometimes I'm successful, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I gotta meditate or journal, or like uh, faster or shorter amount of time. Sometimes it's not. So I really make myself accountable and aware to, okay, like it's okay to react, but it's not okay to stay there so long. So let's change it. Let's act on it, as far as like changing the state, changing the thoughts. So that's what I do.
It's pretty much staying aware with what you used to do and what will my new self, my future self, so grounded in this vision, will do next.
The key is that rehearsing that new self so much that we know how the new self think, how she feels, how she walks, how she sits,
Mm.
how she walks, And that's why there's all kind of different meditations, laying down meditation, sitting down meditation, walking meditation with your eyes open. So it's like you practice it in so many angles to make sure that you're completely anchored into that. And that's what the mental rehearsal comes to picture. And I show up, uh I give my best to myself every morning, sometimes during the day as well, when I needed to show up and sit and really do the meditation and rehearse it. And once we do that, we're entangled with that personality, and the identity will change. And
Mhm.
I realized one of my big aha moment was when I do something is attached to an identity. So I wrote down, what is this identity? How does she think? Does she feel? Is she attached to the past or future instead of being present? And then I wrote down a new identity. So, um, and the most amazing things I experienced throughout the years that I worked on myself is the dream got more clear for me. It didn't really actually change, which was really cool to witness
Mhm.
that. It was just getting more and more clear. So I guess the dream has been with me for a long time.
Or you just finally listened
Yeah.
to yourself and that dream that you've had all throughout. I like that. I like that how you said, first you said that it takes us this level of self-awareness. And then you talked about new identity, which is like I think one of the things that we both had to go through is try to understand this is my old identity and this is my new identity, tangled up, not tangled up, but aligned with this new vision. And we had to literally list down, when this happens, this is what I would do. And so now you have to kind of find the opposite of it so that you can really have this clear picture of this new identity or this new person aligned with making this vision or this dream happen, and be able to embody that, as you mentioned, because it's all about embodiment.
I'm not sure if it's opposite, but it's just different. Different choice, different way of thinking. And I believe dream comes from a level of knowingness that is in our heart and our soul versus you don't think through a dream. You
Mm,
feel the dream, which it comes from that knowingness.
absolutely. I like that you said that because my next question, Mitra, is what's the nervous system's role in growth and expansion? And you just talked about, that feeling, and our nervous system has so much influence into everything.
Yeah, I believe the whole new level of consciousness and awareness that we all see that is trending and is spreading everywhere, and looking at like ourselves as not just the mind and the body, but it's like really all of this. What I realized that when I wanted to change, or when I was dreaming and I wanted to step into the dream, I would think through it. I would use my mind, a conscious mind, which is only 5% of our whole program or whole level of thinking. There's 95% unconscious subconsciousness of us, which is our body, our nervous system, which everything, all the hardwire is there. I realize I can't think through this. I gotta really go deep into my nervous system, learning about what does that even mean, that my nervous system is what it accepts or rejects. It's in survival or it's in creation mode, and understanding all of this dynamic. And I'm like, okay, now I got it. So I had to read a lot about it and study it and practice it in meditation, in like showing up on a Zoom call, or um, being in the meetings, and realizing like, where am I? Like I would keep asking myself, like, where am I standing? How's my breath? Because the
Mm,
first thing that connects the conscious mind to subconscious mind is the breath. The breath is the key, and there's all kinds of breath. So but knowing that our breath is such a key point that it switch between, different mode in our nervous system. And so just keep becoming aware of that, and then I realized, okay, let's let's just completely uh, get the knowledge and get clear on it and then implement it. And definitely doing the work and practicing it, I know the nervous system has such a huge impact. Is the fundamental of how we perceive the world, of like from inside out. That okay, if it's safe, I'm going to expand. If it's not safe, I got to protect.
Mhm.
That means shrinking and getting like, tense. So like even like in certain meetings we had, I would like check in with me, like, am I perceiving this as the truth and reality that is happening, or I'm just perceiving it through the lens of survival or creation? So it was a big aha moment for me. And now every time there's a new goal and new level of thinking, I know consciously I can, put the goal, but then I gotta go into the operating system to help my nervous system say, okay, I like this, I want this, let's do it. And then, there's process around it that can happen.
Can you tell us, let's say, what is it that your nervous system does or tells you physically that knows, okay, this is me protecting, or okay, this is me expanding?
As simple as you can check in where the tension is. If you have
Mm-hmm.
tension in your jaws and in your belly and in your chest or anywhere else in your body, like your body is talking to us all the time. It talks to us
Mm-hmm.
all the time. And so I learned to listen, and I learned to tune into my body to see what is really trying, what is telling me. And and that was it. It's just as simple as that, just becoming aware, okay, like I have a tension in my jaw, I'm like really trying here. and
Exactly.
then and then I did a backtrack to, okay, what am I thinking that is creating such a tension in my jaw? It's like, oh, I want to protect myself, I feel not comfortable or slash safe to say certain things, so I'm like really holding back from my truth of staying the way is my truth. So
Yeah.
it's
I,
yeah.
that's great. I think as a sneak preview to everybody of how our meetings happen when we're making big decisions or we're asking something. Sometimes we're like, wait, no, I feel anxious. That's not the right way. Or sometimes we're like, okay, I feel like light with that decision. That's the right decision. And so with everything, we first also check in like logically first with what we have, but then before making that final, you know, decision, we also check in with our body and our nervous system just to make sure it's all coherent.
And I would love us to do it the other way around. First, like feel into it, and
Mhm.
then maybe simultaneously like think through it as well to see, okay, um, like kind of weaving the two together. And and always making decision from intuition, which is our gut feeling, which is our like really alignment with our coherent heart. And that's why we do the just for the listeners, the other thing that we do when we want to make big decisions, or like we have something that we gotta create and long term like goals or short term goals, that it's for the each quarters. We have a quarterly meeting. We do heart and mind coherent meditation, like couple minutes, just really breathe into our heart, and so our mind and our brain follows it. So yeah, that's what makes the decision. And it never, I don't think ever, it always proved us that's the right way, basically.
Actually, it hasn't failed us
Yeah, it
yet.
hasn't failed us. Yeah, that's the word I
Yeah,
want.
exactly. And I think one of the things we do now is even when people ask us a question or anything, we even close our eyes and just, it's like slowing down. We close our eyes, we slow down, and we connect and then we answer, just so that we know it's coming from a place of heart or a place of groundedness, a place of coherence. So I think there's, as we were talking about, we get dragged into our old self, and then we have this future self so grounded by our vision. I think the biggest moment that every visionary or every leader has to make is that moment where they commit, that moment where they say yes, and everything comes in from that. Can you tell us how that moment was like for you, to be like, this is my vision, I'm committing to this identity, etc.? And why is that so important?
There is a point that we have to pass through a threshold. We can't wa- we can't have one foot in and one foot out. For me, I believe it was a lot of pain, like enough is enough. Like, and my intention in life is before it gets hard, I'm willingly leaning into change. And so it was a lot of like feeling not satisfied for a lot of different reasons, and being in survival like really pushed me to that level. But passing through the threshold is the key, and it comes with like really making the decision. You know that you know that you know, and that has to happen. Like enough is enough, and that's a turning point. That's where I believe for me, my mind and my heart and my mind and body and the mind just became one. It's like,
Hmm.
okay, let's do this. Let's all like move towards one direction. And that when that happens, all the noises basically, it just shut off in the brain, and you're like laser focused into where you go and stepping to the new self as your new self, and whatever that you created it. For us, really, we just launched our new website with all of who we became. And I remember I told you it doesn't feel new, it feels true,
Mm-hmm.
which is really, that's the feeling that when we do that, it's really the alignment with our truest self, with our most authentic self. And I believe that what happened. And brain usually learns from mistakes. So I had to make a lot of mistakes. I had to fail so many times, and got to the point that, okay, I believe I learned my lessons, and enough is enough, and just step in and go through it.
Great. Well, thank you for all of my questions, Mitra. I have one more question, and this is for everybody listening, every leader, every visionary. If there was one thing you wanted them to take away from today about jumping and committing into their big vision, what do you want them to remind themselves with, or what do you want them to remember as they go through this process?
Step into your dreams from the place of being inspired before it gets painful. Because the dream is there for a reason. The dream is connected to something very big and very profound. And most of the time, or sometimes, our brain cannot comprehend that. But knowing what we know as humanity, as who we are nowadays with science and everything else, that are we take action either from the place of pain or from the place of being inspired. So my invitation is, whatever it takes, makes yourself be inspired and step into your dream from the place of inspiration. And that's much more fulfilling and easier. Easy. I love the word easy. I love easy, not just the word, just the experience and being in ease. So
So that's the end of our podcast for today. So we talked about stepping into this big vision, and we're talking about when you step into a big vision, it's not just about planning, strategy, or execution. It's about the embodiment of the whole process. It's being aware of how you show up, who is showing up, and to trust from inspiration, like you just mentioned, Mitra, and to, commit to that dream. And so to close today's podcast, we're going to leave you with this one question. What part of your future are you still asking your past to approve? And so, thank you for joining us today. If this episode resonated with you, feel free to share it with somebody who you think really needs to hear it today. I'm Anna.
I'm Mitra.
And we'll see you next time in our next podcast.